is Vayishlach. All right? This is a famous parsha, not that the others aren't, because it has, and here's show and tell. Okay, who knows what's going on here?
I have those.
Okay, good. And notice the color coordination. This was Yaakov's three-pronged approach to meeting his brother Esav. And the parsha even calls him his brother and Esav. Why the double language? It didn't have to say his brother, and it didn't have to say Esav. It could have just said one of them. So, the first question, why? As they're meeting each other, this is after years of enmity, he's meeting his enemy, and he says, I have to face Esav, and I'm going to do it in three ways. He could have just relied on Hashem, but he realized he can't. Hashem doesn't want us to rely solely on him. It's that fine balance between making the effort, hishtadlus, and relying on Hashem. That's why we're not supposed to worry, because we have to give it over to Hashem. We met with some people in Israel, and the thing is, let it go, let it flow. Hashem loves you so. In other words, you really have to let it go, but you have to do what you can to make your hishtadlus. And that's what Yaakov did. His brother, why his brother? Because in a way it was just as dangerous that it was his brother. Because if he had gotten too close, if we get too close to people who are negative influences, who can affect us in a not good way, that's not always the best. That was the problem with assimilation. So beware, he may act like your brother, but in a sense he really isn't, and he can be very impactful in a way that would not be healthy for him. So he had to keep his distance, and yet he was his brother. He was Esav. So he had this dual relationship of trusting and being close, and actually bowing to him and showing him kavod. And he was able to do that also because Yaakov had what we call self-esteem. He had trust. He knew who he was. Very often people are afraid to be humble, to show respect to someone else, because they themselves are insecure. So you need a certain amount of strength and self-esteem and greatness to be able to bow to someone else, to be able to give in, to be humble. And that's another lesson we learn. So he did the three-prong approach. He set up his two camps, and we learn from that also that no matter what happens, hopefully, there will always be a part of Israel, of the Jewish people, that will be saved. Had they all been in Europe during the Holocaust, it would not have been very well. So even though we see it sometimes as not a blessing, the fact that we are dispersed means that Judaism will always be all over the world, and that we will survive no matter what happens. And this is a lesson from Yaakov. Also, he spread out the gifts. He had the sheep and the other gifts come in different segments so that it looked like more. When you serve a meal, don't serve everything at once. Make sure you serve the entree and the soup and the gefilte fish and the salad and the main dish and the dessert. And they'll say, oh, what a beautiful Shabbos meal. And that's what we do. But it really is a way to show more. So that's what he did. And he said, he also warned, he told the people, he told his malachim, this is what you have to say when you go to Esav. When you're sending someone to do an errand, be very specific. Give them a heads up. When someone goes for an interview, why are you here for the job? And the person says, why am I here for the job? Well, what do you like about our firm? Well, what do I like about our firm? So in other words, when you go into a situation that might have controversy, that you might lose your cool, that you might not be, always go prepared and think ahead of time. And sometimes they say, one of the speakers suggested that if you want to make a criticism to someone, constructive of course, wait 24 hours. A lot of times it will just dissipate, and if you do say it, you'll say it in a better way. And then of course, after he meets him and they exchange that night, Yaakov goes back for these little flasks. Of course, my feeling was probably that his wife told him, bring them home, and you better not come back without them, so maybe that's why he went back for them. But the Mefarshim think another way. They say that everything Hashem gives you is valuable. Whatever Hashem gives you is what you need, and you need whatever Hashem gives you. Whether it's a challenge in life, whether it's a nisayon, whether it's something good, or something that we don't understand, we have it because we need it, and we need it because we have it. And that's what happened, he said. And also it shows, as we were just discussing, that everything in the material world can be raised and used for a higher purpose. So obviously there was a higher purpose to whatever it was that he went back for the flask. So he appreciated that if Hashem gave it to him, sooner or later it would have a purpose. And also people. You have to look at people and see what they're worth. It says in Pirkei Avos, do not denigate or do not disparage any person, because someday you may need them.
Denigrate.
denigrate any person, because someday you may meet them, or you'll see their value in sometimes. They said that one of the Dome, I don't know which, the rabbi, he used to go on a elevator every day in Germany, I believe, right before the Holocaust, and he was the one who used to say hello to the elevator man and was very respectful. Hello, how are you doing? And it turned out the night before one of the raids, the elevator man told him, leave town quickly because it could be that they're going to raid your house and all that. And he said, and the reason I'm telling you is everyone else saw me as part of the wall of the elevator. You noticed that I was a person. You noticed I exist. So we have to give everybody value. Everybody has their value. And then it says, that he actually struggled with another person, an entity, was the angel of Esau, according to one opinion. According to another, it was just angel. It was Yaakov struggling with the other self, the other part of him, whether he's going to be the Yaakov, the one who gets his things through deception, this is from Rabbi Foreman, or the one who does it in a straight way, Yisrael, Yashar El, in the more right way, and he was victorious. But it says, why did he struggle alone? Because alone is what we have to do. We are, in the end, we are always alone. We emulate Hashem by being alone. We have to have that inner strength to be alone. And it says in Perkei Avos again, Ezahu Chacham. Hello, maybe we called him Ezahu Ashir. Ezahu, who is wise, who is wealthy, who is rich, and it's always up to you. It's not dependent on anyone else. You have to be able to learn from other people. You have to overcome yourself. You have to respect other people. So it's all dependent on you. So everything in the end is up to you alone. And then it goes in, I'll just end with saying that there's a very unhappy part about Dinah and Shechem. And Shechem actually went and had a bris because that was the condition that they told him he could marry Dinah. And he convinced everyone else. Why? Because he was passionate about it. Anything you're passionate about, anything you believe in, and you could learn this from anybody, even someone like him, even so, if you're passionate, if you're strongly feeling about something, you can convince other people and you yourself could do it. So if you have inner strength, if you can talk about it, if you have a positive sense of image, you can respect other people, if you can look at what you have and say everything is from Hashem, I don't have to worry, but yet you combine it with gifts, with prayer, with strength, with the ability to fight it in any way you can, and everything in your life hopefully will be good, and do all that's in your power. Hashem loves you.
Thank you.